But let's start with England and Iceland. And the reason we're talking about England is because even as neutrals, and as you may have gathered from our accents, neither of us are English, but we've been here a long time, and we wonder whether, at some point, this country which has done such a good job producing so many young players, this country which literally invented the game, which has the best league in the world, which probably spends more on its national team in terms of structures and supports and coaching and whatever else than anybody else. When are they going to get it together? Obviously, they were runners-up, lost the final. Close. Forget to who. Last time.
Team in blue.
At Wembley.
Yeah.
And still, they've only won one major trophy in history. And even that one, if you were German, which neither of us are, you might say, there's a big asterisk here.
Yeah.
And maybe a big asterisk when they played Argentina in the quarterfinal as well, and a big asterisk against Portugal too. Different time, the 60s, right? They should be getting it together. And then psychologically, they have these games, and it's only a friendly, and it's Iceland who will be watching the tournament on television. But they lose, and I feel it's kind of the nature of the media, football fans here, of discourse, that this becomes a really big deal.
Yeah, although we know we've covered a lot of big tournaments together, and we know that the truth of the last friendly before you travel to whatever tournament is not always... we don't need to take too much away from it. However, I think there was a lot of concern in that performance against Iceland and that defeat at Wembley. Not just the fact that at the end you have to do this stupid lap of honor. I don't know why. When on the big screen it says, next stop, Germany 2024, the stadium is half empty, you got booed off at halftime, and at the end, because you were bad, and you still have to do the lap of honor, clap the few remainings who were there, who've just been booing you. That was weird.
Can I say something? The FA employs a lot of, not as many as they did in the past, but they employ a lot of people. Whoever's in charge of that, and I get the whole let's give him a good send-off, it's like a pep rally. Southgate or Southgate's boss should be in touch with them and says, like, lads, let's read the room.
Yeah,
if we lose this game, if half the people have left, it's Friday night, nobody cares. Let's not make them look stupid. Let's just have them go over, applaud the fans who are there, and then get out.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. But it was really interesting because we saw an Iceland team that played really deep, certainly in the first half after taking the lead early. A goal that was far too easy to score, by the way. Problem in the pressing from England, problem defensively, how easy it was for Iceland to create that. Stones 1v1, gets done in the inside. Yeah. Really strange.
And I think you make a good point there about the issue with the pressing, because you can look at it and you say, well, Ramsdale should have done better, well, Stone should have done better, sure. But there was a breakdown before that, which allowed the guy to get one-on-one with Stones.
And that's Iceland as well, by the way. That you could not press and box them out and not letting them do 3 passes together. But after that, there was just no way for this England team to break down that Icelandic defense, which I find really weird. There's one thing I think for sure is that whether Southgate is a fan of Alexander Arnold or not, whether we think that he's got flaws defensively, which he has, when you play against a low block, and they will do that against Slovenia, probably as well maybe against Serbia, Trent Alexander-Arnold has to start at right back and not play as a right back, play as a whatever you want him to do. But that creativity that he brings is needed against a deep block, a low block like Iceland, because you had nothing from Kyle Walker on the right, nothing from Trippier on the left because he's not a left back. And then by consequence, you had no much width apart from Anthony Gordon, I guess, on the left-hand side, who was good and did a few good things. But overall, it was just not enough in terms of creativity, creating chances, having that kind of input. And we hardly saw Phil Foden, which, again, I really struggled to understand how you can have the best player of the Premier League in your team and not use him at his best.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Foden thing, when he plays for City, he's got so many great players around him who can, so many great passers. No. But I feel like with England, I'm talking about great passers in midfield, from deeper positions that can move the ball around and destabilize a low block, which then opens up room for you, and then Foden can do his thing. I feel like with England that's missing. And I would imagine, if you remember when England put out their list, they had Alexander Arnold listed among the midfielders.
Yeah.
Increasingly, I wonder if it's going to be where we end up seeing him in the tournament.